The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Friday. But you guys have been up for hours, so you already know that. What's going on, all you scallywags, nutmeggers? How y'all feel out there? You know what time it is. We're going to have some fun on this edition of Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I was going through a whole bunch of stuff last night, just trying to watch a movie with the wife that never works out. I don't know why that is, but it doesn't. Is it a thing with the ladies out there? I'll ask you, ladies, if you call in today, I'm going to talk to my wife about it a little bit. I know it seems almost silly as a conversation, but I want to know if this is something that is a phenomenon that's false or if it's true. Do you ladies out there just always fall asleep when we watch movies at home? Is that always the case? I don't get it. I mean, is there a certain hour of the day that we need to watch a movie? Because last night I said to myself, my wife, I'll tell the story in this way. So I didn't know. Yesterday I had talked about a documentary coming out on Prime about John Candy. And I expressed one of my favorite parts of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is when he gives that speech to Steve Martin, you know, when Steve Martin loses it on him about how annoying he is. And he tells that story about, you know, who he is, and that line is called "I Like Me," and that's the name of the documentary. So last night after the show, we sit down to do our usual thing. We watch our DVR recording of, which is redundant. We watch our DVR of The Five, and then we watch Jesse Waters, and we usually watch it like Jesse Waters. We might watch it live, but we usually watch it DVR'd as well. Anyway, so in the middle of waiting for her to come back inside because she was on the phone with a good friend of ours, I went to go watch see if the documentary was there. And I was wrong. It didn't come out yesterday. It came out today. So I went to watch the trailer just to find out who's in it to talk about John Candy's life. Anyway, and I'm telling a long story unnecessarily, but it is important to the story. So as I'm watching it, Rozan comes back into the house. And she goes, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "Oh, I thought the documentary about John Candy came out today, but it comes out tomorrow. I'm watching the trailer." And it was at the end of it. So at the end of the trailer, they show the scene, the famous scene, "I Like Me." And I am emotional. I don't know why I started choking up. Because the whole trailer, if you haven't seen it, it talks about the troubles that John Candy was going through. He died at 43, which I forgot. And he had such a full life. He had such a catalog of movies. And I'm watching this. Anyway, my wife says, "Oh, the documentary's not out." I'm like, "No, it's not out till tomorrow." And she goes, "Let's watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles." I've never seen it. So I'm like, okay. But we finished watching The Five. We finished watching Jesse Waters. And it's getting late. It's roughly about 9 o'clock. And I decide to put it on. And we get to, I think the part we get to is when they stay at the hotel. And Steve Martin has got the small little towel and water's all over the floor. It's an icky scene, but it's funny. So anyway, we decide it's getting a little late. Hey, you know what? Let's watch it in the bedroom so we can finish the film, go straight to bed. Well, I decide, you know what? Let me go take a shower real quick. Because, you know, I've been me all day. I'll take a shower and I'll come in. Anyway, when I get out of the shower, I walk in, and this one is passed out. out. We didn't even watch 1/4 of the film yet. She's gone, which I don't get. Is it all I'm trying to figure out for ladies? Do you need a particular hour to watch a movie? Is it like before 6, before 7? Because once it starts reaching 9, 10 o'clock, do you just conk out? Or maybe the movie's boring. I don't understand. Go ahead, Roland.
I'm going to put you in on a little secret.
Please.
But being raised by a woman.
Okay.
godmother, grandmother, and mother.
Okay.
No male. And just taking tidbits from each one of them.
Okay.
And being married, obviously you've been married a bunch of times. You know you know all about that.
You think I'd know?
The thing is, if it's not something that they've picked to watch, then they don't mind you watching it. They just want to be in your presence while you watch it, and then they're going to go to sleep.
You know what's the part that I can't, and you're 100% right, and I should have figured that out. If the movie is Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley, she's watched that movie now, I think this year, 5 times. The Harry Potter series, she'll go through all of them. She'll watch them 9 times in a year. Every one of them, 9 times in a year. Right now, she's watching The Chosen. She's watching that series. 7 seasons in, she's watching. I think she's on season 2, maybe 3. Loves that series now. Watches that, never falls asleep. My movie comes on, conked out. She's snoring it up in a heartbeat. So, I thought maybe it was because of the time of day, but you're saying they have absolutely no interest in the movie.
She's interested in you, not the show.
Oh.
So, unless, and that don't mean she won't be entertained by watching it, but it's not something that she's going to just turn on and watch. She's going to be interested because you're interested in it, and, once it gets uninteresting, then it's lights out.
She'll just fall asleep.
Yeah, it's lights out. And she'll be comfortable because she's next to you. You're enjoying yourself, and she's knocked out.
Okay.
It happens to me almost every night.
Craig in the car says they either fall asleep or don't stop talking throughout the movie.
Yeah. But I think the talking, when you said she had a phone call before, right?
Right. She was out dealing with the phone call, and I just watched the trailer. And then when she came in, she was like, and the thing was, I didn't think, it wasn't my suggestion to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. She just knew that I liked the movie, and I was talking about that scene, and she heard me talking about it. And again, talking about it, said, I really, really love that scene because the line, I really like me, is something that really resonates with me. When everything else in the world and people are criticizing you, you're like, you can say whatever you want. I like me. And that scene really holds a lot of weight with me. And so then she suggests, let's watch it then if you really like the movie. And I went, okay, sure, we'll watch it. And then I start watching it, and I'm all into it because I know the movie so well, and she falls asleep.
Yeah. Also, I noticed that there's a correlation with talking on the phone at a high rate and all excited, and then once the phone call is over, it's lights out. Oh,
that's what it is. It's sort of like all of the gossip or the conversation, that stuff is very, very stimulating.
Night was made, stimulation achieved. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Now, Wendy says, I fall asleep watching movies I want to watch. You do? I would imagine you fell asleep on a movie you didn't want to watch. Lori says, most movies, I'm asleep before the credits roll. Like the opening credits? John Candy and the old 76er. I'm not sure I understand that, Russell, but you may have to explain it a little more. But it wasn't like Planes, Trains, and Automobile is a movie that I run back to, right? I'm not sitting up there going, honey, you got to watch this movie. So, but I love the movie, and what I really wanted her to see were 2 important scenes. As, what's his name? As Mark Christopher mentioned, the Edie McClure scene at the car rental. I wanted her to see that because it's hilariously funny. But the opening scene of the film is Steve Martin racing Kevin Bacon to the cab in New York City. And the reason why I wanted her to see that in the opening scene is because a lot of people don't know that there's a little bit of universe in that, because Kevin Bacon is in a film called She's Having a Baby, also directed by, why am I forgetting this? John Hughes, directed by John Hughes. And this movie is supposed to pair that universe, is because both of them are in that movie. So and they both work in New York. So there's a universe thing that's associated with that. And that was the point I wanted her to watch the movie for that scene. Russell says, the movie Great Outdoors, John Candy was challenged to eat 76-ounce steak. That's right. and the whole party ate for free. Co-star Dan Aykroyd pushed him, and the whole family ate for free. Yeah, that's an actual. Technically, that scene is kind of stolen from Meatballs. You might remember that. That's another one of my favorite films. But yeah, I don't get it, ladies. I don't know what it is about movies and women, but you might be right, Roland, as it relates to films that they care about. Like if they love the film, if it's something that's like women love Twilight. I don't know why. And 50 Shades of Grey, as the films go. I just don't, maybe, dare I say it? Or movies, I guess I can say it. Movies are generally made for men, I guess, to a large degree. I mean, unless I used to think that horror films were made for dates. That's why I never liked them. I never date growing up. So I took one girl to the movies to go see a romantic comedy, and that went nowhere. And I have to say it. Gosh, why am I saying it? The movie that I took her to go see was Andrew McCarthy and Kim Cattrall in Mannequin. I took a girl to that movie. I took her to that movie. Why do I remember that? Oh, goodness, why do I remember that? And she did. She says, when I finally walked her home, I said, how did you like the movie? And she said, it was fun. And she shrugged her shoulders. It's like, it was fun. At that point, I knew she probably hated that movie. I never talked to her again. We never had a second date. But I think then I stopped. When he says, oh, my God, I love that movie. So did I. Still do. I still sing the song from Fame, the TV series called Mannequin. And it's also what's the song? Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now is also in that movie. I think I remember correctly. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, scary movies on a date.
They're perfect, right?
Yeah.
They're supposed to be perfect.
Yeah. I think I've scored 100% on the 4 or 5 scary movie dates I went on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I remember my friends, and I'll tell you this. Do you want to know why I've never taken a girl to see a scary movie in my life? Because I'm scared to death.
Because you're scared.
I can't stand blood. I don't.
You can't protect her.
I freak out at the sight of blood. I'm telling you, my stepdaughter cut her foot on a glass bottle that broke in the house, and she inadvertently stepped on it and cut her foot. I had to leave the house because she was bleeding. I hate the sight of blood, so I would never go to a horror
That's
flick.
crazy.
So if I ever went to a scary movie. They say if you're a guy, take a girl to a scary movie because she'll clutch your arm and, bury her head. Yeah, that's how you score. No, I would be the guy burying my head.
You can't.
I'm like, oh, my God. Okay, is it over? Is it over? It's not my fault. I blame this one. Now, everybody talks about trauma. Let's talk about trauma yesterday after the show. Let me tell you this. If there's anything traumatic that I dealt with as a child, it was the day that my mom and my stepdad, Briggs, I guess they had something else planned, and they sent us to the movie theater on Jamaica Avenue in Queens. And they let us go to the movies by ourselves, which, by the way, should have never been allowed. But we went to go see a double feature. And my older sister, who's 2 years older than me, myself, and my younger brother, who's 4 years younger than me, they dropped us off at the movie theater to go get tickets to see a double feature. The double features were Kathy's Curse and the first Halloween.
Oh.
Now, if you're an aficionado of horror films, you will know Kathy's Curse. And there's a scene in Kathy's Curse I'll never forget, and it's when this sort of like thing, they grab something by the door, and there's a stick that goes through the peephole and goes into the eye. That actually happens in the film. And, of course, Halloween, infamously, Michael Myers, Jamie Lee Curtis and that stuff. So I saw those movies as a kid, dropped off by my parents with my sister and my brother, no adult supervision, and I had to sit there and watch that horror as it played out. And the only thing, and this is true, those two movies terrified me. And it definitely, it's the reason why I proceed with caution when it comes to horror flicks. Now, mind you, when I grew up, anytime I walked into a movie theater, the smell of popcorn in a movie theater gave me the chills because I was traumatized by those movies.
So that was a trigger.
Yeah, it was a trigger. I would walk in, and the smell of popcorn in a movie theater would remind me of that experience growing up. It took me, I want to say, 15 years to get over the smell of popcorn in a movie theater. I can smell it at home, but the movie theater, the air conditioning and the smell of popcorn in the movie theater, always, the halls of a movie theater always made me nervous.
And that's my favorite villain of all time. I love Michael Myers.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw, not for me. I can't do any of them. I can't do any of those films. I try to, older, I've convinced myself, hey, chill out. It's all fake blood. It's all, special effects. Can't do it. And I'll tell you why the reason is. And this sounds crazy, but it is. I love the magic of film. So when you're watching a movie and let's say, a superhero is flying or he's fighting the bad guy and all that stuff, I am immersed in that fantasy to the point that I've the escapism and the illusion that this is real in the film, that makes me, I have to dispel disbelief. I have to get rid of disbelief and believe what I'm seeing in order to enjoy it. Iron Man is real. Superman is real. So in that moment when I'm watching, murder, death, kill, I have to suspend disbelief and I've got to go, oh my God, that person really died in the movie. So I'm attached myself to the character and attach myself to what's happening on the screen because, again, I've escaped from reality and I become immersed. So what I see on the screen to me is real, and I can't do anything else. It's just, and because of that, horror films I cannot watch.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my own psychology, and I've done it to myself. I don't blame anybody else.
I don't watch them much anymore, but growing up, I watched a bunch of them.
Horror films?
Yeah, I don't. They don't make the same type anymore. And
this
then
is
the ones
true.
they make now, sometimes they're not really that good.
I feel like everybody's doing zombie stuff.
Oh yeah, zombie.
Like it's zombie every single day. No matter what the program is, it's zombie, 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 zombie. And I'm like, I don't know. I need a villain with a brain, not one who wishes to eat them.
Well, Wednesday put a little spin on that because they opened up with a zombie as one of the villains of the new season.
Oh, of Wednesday, the Addams Family character?
Correct. And he eats brain, but it makes him whole again. It is not like just going around eating brain just to eat it. Every brain he eats gets him closer to being human again.
That's somewhat, you know what it is? There's a little bit of a vampire twist on that. That's eerily enough. So he needs to eat brains in order to stay more human.
Yep.
Weird. Well, it's a pretty good twist. I mean, it's not a bad twist. Anyway, when we come back, I've got to talk about this story with Benny Johnson and the story in Milford when we return. So stand by for that. Today's opening monologue, if they don't want us dead, what do they want? When we return, stand by. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Hey, we're back. And my wife was just in here yelling at me. She's like, I heard what you said about the movies. She'll be here to defend herself later. I was just setting it up. So I've got some news about Benny Johnson, the podcaster, host of the Benny Johnson Show. And we'll talk about what happened to him as of recent, as it relates to Milford, with some audio that we have of that case of the Milford Democrat Town Committee member, Nadine Padowitz. We'll play both of those pieces of audio in a second. But I want to kind of lay some groundwork here, because I've always paid attention to the questions no one is asking. And I think about this a lot of times. Immediately after the death of Charlie Kirk, Rozan was very, very concerned. And she was like, what happens when you go out to events? What happens when you go here and you go there? And my response to that has been dismissive at times. I'm just Reese on the radio. It's like what I say doesn't have these ramifications. Like, whoa, the world's going to end unless we stop this guy. I don't think of myself in that way, and I'm not egotistical. And that could, again, I could be wrong. Who knows? Some whack job could be out there lurking, upset about some words that were said. But when you talk to people on the left, and I have, and I do, I ask the question all the time. And you guys know I've said it here. As it related to Charlie Kirk, if you didn't believe that he should have died, then what did he deserve? And reasonable people can answer that question lickety-split. He deserved an opportunity to have that discussion with people who disagreed with him. Even reasonable people who are Democrats or people on the left will immediately say that he deserved the right to hash it out between others who opposed his views. But it is the ones who have a difficult time answering the question and going anywhere and everywhere except just answering the question. What did he deserve? So I thought about it and I said, well, let's ask a more important question. If they don't want us dead, what do they want? I think it's a reasonable question because I don't want to accuse them of wanting us to die. Conservative, MAGA folks, I do not want to accuse them of that. I know that a lot of you do. And I am not negating you. I'm not saying that you do not have cause to believe that. Reasonable people can come to the most extreme ideas. And what I mean by that is for their own safety. Look, Reese, I look at this and it just doesn't look good. I get into these arguments. These people are screaming and hollering. They're shouting at me and they're in my face and they're unreasonable. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I'm got my back up. Can't trust these guys. What do they want? So I'm not negating it. I'm just telling you what I think personally. I refuse to say that what they want is my demise. So with that, me giving them the benefit of the doubt, all I'm asking is, what do they want? Do they want me silenced? Clearly they do. I mean, that's obvious. But you have to also ask, how do you wish to achieve that? How do you wish to achieve my silence? Now, you can go after my job. That's been done before. I can name a host, a litany of people who have been in this profession who, if not had their careers threatened, have actually had them ended because somebody didn't like something they said. I remember the infamous Don Imus controversy with the Rutgers female basketball team. By saying something as a joke turned into what? Turned into a DEFCON 1 incident as racial relations were involved. Al Sharpton got involved with a joke, which, by the way, fast forward to just a couple of, weeks, months ago, Jimmy Kimmel's joke was immediately supposed to be, accepted as he was joking about the murder of Charlie Kirk. Just a joke. Y'all can't take a joke anymore? The funny part about it here's the part that was really, really funny. Remember how racist they called the Hakeem Jeffries sombrero thing is racist? But then Donald Trump's nickname of Taco was not? That wasn't considered racist at all, because it's Donald Trump. That gives us license to do and say whatever we want because, he's the big bad guy. He's got more power than all of us. And because he has so much power, he has to deal with far more than the rest of us can handle. Because he's Trump. Because it's Trump, we can throw the book at that guy. We can say the most off-color, disrespectful thing that they want to him. But everybody else, no. Can't do that to me. I dismiss that, but you know the point. It's a reasonable question. What do they want? They clearly do not want to debate us. They don't want to have an exchange of ideas. They refuse. They don't go on programs that people that disagree with them. They don't. They don't engage with them in conversation. They want no parts of it. And a testament to this is the fact that they go further and further down this road of saying things that are inflammatory. Case in point. Let's go to this young lady. I don't know who she is, but she only came into my radar yesterday. Nadine Padowitz. I only have one question after this diatribe. Let's play it first.
You idolize a bona fide sociopath. So what does that say about you? He is a thug who is destroying our democracy, and you lick his boots. You go to Mar-a-Lago and take pictures with him, and you haven't even figured out that you are his pawns. You know what happens to Nazi bootlickers? They get kicked in the teeth. That's right. Trump and his Nazi henchmen don't just hate immigrants, women, liberals, the LGBTQ community, books, big words that describe fascism, universities. No, the list is endless. They even hate Jews and Catholics. That's right. After they have taken all of us away, they will come for you too.
Now, before we go to break, I need to make something abundantly clear. I got hell for saying that people who took a photograph next to Lamont, Governor Lamont, earlier in the week, looked like they had type 2 diabetes. When I say that Democrats or leftists who contact this show or go into the chat room are lazy, when I say that they are misinformed or uninformed, I've even gone so far as to call them stupid. I have evidence of every one of those claims. Why? Because I allow them to speak. I allow them to debate me. Everything that I've ever said about them has always been based on evidence. But that's not the case with Nadine here. Nadine has decided what these people think and what they represent, having never met them, never seen them. Simply based upon who they support. She has determined who they are. Just based upon who they support. She's done no deep dive. She hates Trump, and supporting him means you are the things that she has already applied to Trump, having never met him, based upon information that she has gathered or has been told by others. She doesn't have an original thought because if you watch that video, she's reading her remarks. I keep no remarks here. You can probably tell that I speak off the cuff. It's not because I believe these things, it's because I know them. I am able to form my opinions based upon what I know. Not what I think, what I know. I'll tell you what I think, and I will preface, this is what I think. And I will engage in anyone by saying, if I'm wrong, counter them. At least I engage. But that's not the case with individuals like Nadine here. So while people are getting angry at what it is that I can actually surmise, having engaged the opposition, they will sooner be angry at me for stating the facts, but say that her rhetoric is okay. Calling people Nazi bootlickers is okay. There are people in that crowd who applauded that rhetoric. They didn't challenge it. Not one person that says, Nadine, you don't know these people. You've never met them. You've never engaged with them. You've never broken bread with them. You wouldn't even bother to have a 5-minute conversation with them. Why do you get to make these assertions about them? No one. She had the right to speak them. She had the right to say those things. But I just have to ask one question. When you hear that rhetoric, when you hear that dehumanizing rhetoric, you have to ask Nadine and the people who applauded it. If they don't want us dead, what do they want? They want us to stop supporting Donald Trump? Do they wish to control who we support? I want to know. Because at least then, if you tell us, we at least know what you expect of us. We tell you every day what we want of you. And it's one simple thing. To think. That's all. If there's another, converse. If there's a third, exchange ideas. But if we can lay out what we want, why can't you? Because we're going to be here. We're all going to be here. And in order for us to get along, to live in a society that is at least safe for all of us, you're going to have to tell us what you want and what you want from us so that we can get along. Or you want to ratchet this up. When we get back, we'll talk a little bit about that with Benny Johnson, or at least as it relates to Benny Johnson when we return. Stand by. More news, more views. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Attention Southern New England HVAC and mechanical contractors. Eagle Rivet is your trusted roofing partner for professional roof penetrations and flashing. We ensure your customers' roofs remain watertight during installations, protecting their warranties. We also offer complimentary roof inspections to identify potential issues before any HVAC work begins. Call Eagle Rivet today at 860-953-1231 or visit us online at eaglerivet.com. That's EAGLERIVET.com. Eagle Rivet is proud to support rebuilding Together Hartford.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, October 25th at White Memorial Conservation Center in Litchfield. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/LitchfieldCO. That's afsp.org/LitchfieldCO.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you're IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607. Free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Benny Johnson was part of a press conference today with Attorney General Pam Bondi. I think they were in Florida because I think that's exactly where Benny Johnson lives. And it turns out that Benny Johnson was the recipient of some hate mail, some very threatening hate mail that threatened to take his life in a similar way Charlie Kirk's life was taken away from us. And the FBI and everyone else, they got together and they found this person living all the way in San Diego, somewhere near San Diego. He's been arrested, and he will face federal charges. Which, again, I say this just because I'm trying to understand. When are you folks going to figure it out? Like, this stuff isn't worth ruining your life. It's not worth it. The only thing people want is to be able to freely express who they support and what they support. And when you start going like above and beyond to inject yourself into these debates to the point where you're threatening individuals, where you are dehumanizing them in a way that says to others, we need to eliminate these folks, because that's what you're saying when you say these things. Here's Benny Johnson talking about what he endured, and he sort of gave some brief remarks after Pam Bondi.
1 month ago today, I witnessed my friend of 10 years, someone who I considered a brother, a loving husband, a devoted father, a generational leader, get assassinated on a live stream by a left-wing radical. Approximately 1 year ago, I witnessed the President of the United States get shot in the head by a left-wing radical, who also took the life of a Trump supporter in front of his daughters and wife. 2 months ago, Christian children kneeling and praying in a church were slaughtered by a left-wing extremist. And 2 weeks ago, federal law enforcement was shot at multiple sniper rounds in a federal facility by a left-wing extremist. If it's happening every single week, is it that extreme? Or has the Democrat Party mainstreamed violence as a political tool? The individual who wrote me described why he wanted me dead. I was a white, cis, Christian Trump supporter. They described in great detail how I would be killed in an open field, just like Charlie, how much blood would come out of my head and neck when it was blown off. This individual described orphaning my 4 beautiful children and widowing my wife with great joy. You might want to say another left-wing radical, another extremist. And to that, I would like to direct your attention to the state of Virginia, where Democrats have nominated and are about to vote for the chief law enforcement officer in that state, a man who has done the exact same thing, an individual who's calling for the assassination by bullets of Republicans that he disagrees with, the killing of their children, the slaughtering of, as he says, little fascists. Are my 4 innocent, beautiful children little fascists?
Again, a legitimate question. And it is a legitimate question. What do they want if they don't want us dead? And it is a question that should come from every journalist, every podcaster, anywhere. That is the question that should be asked. If you can't step up, if you can't stand up against this kind of rhetoric, if you can't, ask the simple question, what do you want from us? What can we do so that we can stop? Because apparently you're just telling us we're not allowed to have a differing opinion than you. So what do you want from us? I wish they would just acknowledge. Tell us that you have to renounce your support of Donald Trump and become one of us. Just say it. Just say it. Tell us that resistance is futile. I'd appreciate that. It's just a legitimate question. I just want it. I want the answer to that. So at least the rest of us know. Because truth be told, I don't think that it's fair for everybody to be worried about whom they speak to or what they speak about, or to live in a rule of people who will point at them and scream fascist because they don't agree with them. Because I wonder what they're calling for, because I see him out in the street. He's a Nazi! He's a Nazi! And you're shouting this because you want what reaction? It's a legitimate question. What do you want? We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and I've got another piece on this when we return. Let's get to the WTIC newsroom with John Silva.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
We're back. It is the top of the hour. There is no headlines on Friday. I mean, there are some stories in the headlines, but I usually try not to do them because we have so much stuff to get into. And we sort of like do it. I like Friday to be kind of free-flowing. You know how they have casual Fridays? I thought about that, and I was going, yeah, we should have casual Fridays. Let's do that. So I'm trying to keep it casual, and plus, at the same time, get some news out there. Coming up later on, we're going to talk about Leticia James. She responded, of course, to the indictment by the Department of Justice. We'll play that for you as well. We've got, between rounds coming up, we've also got to talk about, this. Okay, so I did some digging, and that'll come up in the next couple of minutes. I did some digging on this illegal immigration thing. And you might remember that there was this whole contention about the taxpayer or the illegals who pay taxes, federal taxes, to the United States. And in Connecticut in particular. So the number, now I want you to think about this number. 639 million, according to this advocacy group that is fighting to protect illegals in Connecticut. That number, think about this number, 639 million in federal tax dollars is coming from an estimated 117,000 illegals. You're saying to yourself, you're going, nah, Reese, that cannot be. I agree. Whoever is coming up with these numbers, it just does not make sense. But that's okay, because something else was revealed when I did some research, and it's the most despicable thing about the way they're crunching these numbers. And I'm mad about it. I'm really mad about it. So I will, and what they're admitting is, it makes me crazy. We'll get to that in a second. I don't believe in coincidences. I say it all the time. Don't believe in them. I know that there is a plan. And I got some text messages after yesterday's show. People were concerned about me because I sort of had an attitude. Guilty as charged. I did. I was a little bit annoyed. I was greatly annoyed. And I kind of had enough, and I was fed up. And I'm a human being. And for those who were offended by it or were worried about me in some sort of way, that it appeared ugly, I can only apologize as much as I know it went off the beaten path. But I am still me. I won't apologize for who I am. But I'm watching Jesse Waters last night, as I said in the opening, as we DVR it, and we watched it last night. And at the end of Jesse's show, he does this thing called Waters Window, where he sort of embarks some of his own personal experiences as a jewel to share with the audience. Something he experienced, and he says, this is something to think about. And again, like I said, no such thing as coincidences. I've often accused Jesse Waters' producers of listening to this program, which might be true. He's even used the word scallywags on his program. And he said this during Waters' Window last night.
Sometimes people are in your life for a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, maybe even a couple years. And sometimes the right thing to do is to let go of those people. And sometimes those people don't know, but it's the right thing for you to let them go, and it's the right thing for them to be let go. Think about it.
And that was all I needed to hear. I believe that God always sends me a sign when I'm looking for it. When I say, God, send me a sign, just your will be done. And Jesse Waters said that last night. If you missed it, let me play it one more time.
Sometimes people are in your life for a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, maybe even a couple years. And sometimes the right thing to do is to let go of those people. And sometimes those people don't know, but it's the right thing for you to let them go, and it's the right thing for them to be let go. Think about it.
So for those of you who were paying attention to yesterday's show, who were sending me messages, and well wishes, nobody was critical. They just, hey, are you okay? Much better now. Much better now. I needed Jesse Waters to say that. So I appreciate that. Also, I want to play this. This is Jake Tapper, by the way, saying something a lot of people were blown away about. But I won't play it. While all of these people are trying to spin the government shutdown, Jake Tapper, random act of journalism. Was it last night? Said this.
Blaming the Republicans for the shutdown, but in point of fact, it's the Democrats in the Senate who are refusing to vote for the clean continuing resolution to fund the government for 7 weeks. I mean, that just as a point of fact, the way that we have always covered shutdowns is that the party that is not voting for the CR, the continuing resolution to fund the government, is the party that is blocking the government funding and is responsible for the shutdown. That's how we did it the last time in 2018, 2019. That's the time we did before that during the Obama administration. I mean, it's your party that is refusing in the Senate that is refusing to vote for the continuing resolution.
Yeah, random act of journalism. Like, what? What? Did he really admit that? Yeah, he did. It is always the opposition party that won't sign the CR, the clean CR, that's always blamed for the government shutdown. What's different now? And I don't even know who the woman was who was sitting there, but she was completely overtaken by the fact. It's like, what do you say to that? Last but not least on this subject about what is it that the left wants from conservatives or MAGA folks or whatever, people who disagree with them. What do they want? Now, what people are using as the evidence that they cannot reason with folks who wish for their demise is always backed up in certain ways. And I don't know if it's fear. Maybe it is. I want to say it's fear. But maybe somebody can tell me in the chat room what this is about. Last night, the debate stage, Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, Winsome Sears. Abigail Spanberger is asked simply, do you still endorse the Attorney General candidate, Jay Jones? Can you continue to endorse him? It is a simple question. And the reason why I'm setting it up this way is because of a phone call yesterday from Geo. If you remember it, I'll refresh your memory. But again, here's Abigail Spanberger being asked, do you still support Jay Jones, a man who said in a text message in 2022 that he wanted to see his political opposition and Speaker of the House 2 bullets in his head and wished for their children to die, who at the time in 2022 were ages 3 and 5. That they should die. Why? Because as Nina Jenowitz said, our little fascists said they need to die too. They will not recognize the error in their ways until they feel the pain of their children dead. Abigail's asked, do you still endorse him?
Thank you, Ms. Spanberger. I didn't hear an answer there on the endorsement issue, so I want to just make sure. Will you continue to endorse Jay Jones to be the next Attorney General of Virginia? And were you aware of these text messages before they released? You have 30 seconds.
In fact, it appears that it was those who released the text messages and held them for years. So the public was unaware who had knowledge of these text messages for many years.
What did you do about
I learned of these text messages the day that they came out, and I denounced them as soon as I learned of them.
She denounces murder.
And importantly, at this point, as we move forward, the voters now have this information that was withheld for them,
You're running to
presumably for political reasons.
I am not suggesting that this is indicative of all Democrats. But this woman wishes to be governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. She knows what Jay Jones said. And the only thing she can say, and again, rightly so, is can you or will you continue to endorse Jay Jones? He's not a part of her campaign. He's not a lieutenant governor. He is running a separate campaign. Do you endorse him? That's all you have to do. Just say it.
But the voters now have the information, and it is up to voters to make an individual choice based on this information.
Ms. Bamberger, I understand what you're saying about the voters, but for you yourself, do you still continue to endorse Jay Jones?
Because she has endorsed him. It's a reasonable question. She endorsed him before they came out. Where are you today? The answer should be, I can't endorse him with that kind of language. Now, she knows that by saying that, it could very well tank his candidacy. And if not, it could tank hers.
15 seconds, yes or no?
We are all running our individual races. I believe my opponent has said that about her lieutenant governor nominee. And it's up to every person to make their own decision. I am running my race to serve Virginia, and that is what I intend to do.
Thank you, Ms. Bamberger. We just want to clarify, what you're saying is that as of now, you still endorse Jay Jones as Attorney General.
That's all she has to, and again, by not saying I can't, the obvious must be true.
Saying as of now, it's up to every voter to make their own individual decision. I am running for governor. I am accountable for the words that I say, for the acts that I take, for the policies that I have put out.
Good. I'm glad she said that. She is responsible for what she says. She cannot be held accountable for what anyone else says. I totally appreciate that. Yesterday, I got a text message. Somebody said in the chat room that the back and forth, the either or, we need to condemn both. Not happening here. Didn't happen here. You know it didn't. And yesterday, Gio called the program. What did he do yesterday? He said, Donald Trump can say that my supporters are so loyal that I could shoot a man in the middle of Fifth Avenue and they would still support me. What's the difference between the two? As I expressed to Gio yesterday, clearly he didn't say that he was going to kill an individual. He did not name an individual. He was being absolutely, he was being tongue-in-cheek, and the person he was talking about is a figment of one's imagination. I could shoot someone. He didn't say Democrat. He didn't say Republican. He said independent. He didn't say progressive. He said nothing. He's talking about a person that does not exist in a figurative way. I could shoot somebody in the middle of the street and supporters would still support me. He did not take aim at an individual. You can never say that. My point yesterday was that Barack Obama did kill a person. And after, of course, he did that and killed his 16-year-old son, an American citizen, his father, after killing him, told the New York Times, I'm really good at killing this. I'm really good at this killing stuff. Not a word. Mum. An actual person was taken out by the government. Not a fictional person I could shoot in Fifth Avenue. The same case is with Jay Jones. He didn't say that I would kill a Republican. He didn't say that I would give 2 shots in the head to a Republican over Pol Pot and Hitler. He specifically named a man who had given a eulogy at a funeral. He named the man's 2 children that he knew and he met. It's not the same thing. You know it isn't. Abigail Spanberger and anyone else for that matter who sort of makes excuses for this kind of rhetoric or makes excuses and pretty much can't even just say, I denounce that. Why? Because they are more concerned about offending their supporters than they are about doing what's right. What am I supposed to say to those people? That there isn't an ounce of human dignity in you because what's more important is that you don't want to be caught flat-footed against your supporters. Because if I say that I denounce what he said or what he texted, if I say it, people might drop their support for me because I didn't hold the line. What is that saying about the people who support Abigail Spanberger? Does she have, are her people telling her, hey, look, if they bring this up, you can't denounce them. You can't withdraw your support. Polling data says that you're sunk if you do. If you join the Republicans, they'll consider you one of them, and you're going to lose this race. So if they ask you, I don't dodge as much as you can. Well, everyone is saying you need to denounce the violence. You need to denounce the rhetoric. Could not do it on a stage during a debate about whether or not you denounce the rhetoric. So I would, with all due respect to everybody else, spare me the nonsense about what you're supposed to say, how you're supposed to behave, or telling the rest of us what we need to do. It's both sides. That wasn't both sides. That wasn't anybody, as far as Abigail Spanberger was concerned, that wasn't her condemning the violent rhetoric of a candidate to be attorney general. Where was that? Nowhere. And the fact that anyone's bringing it up and saying, well, what is she supposed to do? What do you think? The same thing you would have under any circumstances. The same thing as Gio asked when it came to Donald Trump talking about a fictional person on Fifth Avenue. Reese, you need to denounce that. He didn't name anybody. He didn't say his political opponent. He said an imaginary person on Fifth Avenue. But I must denounce that language. And that language is political violence. I have to denounce that. And then when you get to Jay Jones and Abigail Spanberger, we get the old Ralph Cramden humana response. And again, I'm trying to make heads or tails. Back to my original question. What do they want? I'm not sure, Rick. I'm not. It may be down. It's quite possible. Roland, they're saying something's going on with the Odyssey app. I'll check it myself if you haven't heard anything. We'll check on that for you, Rick. I apologize. Silvermine says, my own aunt called me a fascist Nazi for supporting Trump. Yeah, I've been called that too. It's again, that's what we get. That's what we get for just having an opinion. But, you know, and that's the point I was trying to make yesterday. It was like people being angry at me for talking about somebody's weight, which I can see with my own eyes. Me talking about somebody who is intellectually dishonest or lying or worse off, dumb, that I'm based upon the information I'm receiving from said individual. That is hate speech. But saying what my intentions are because of the person that I support, having never spoken to me, refuses to have a conversation with me, that's acceptable. You got to be kidding me. I can't sit here and stand for that. I can't sit here and agree with that. And I'll push back on it every time. And you can hate me all day for that one. I don't care. But that's the question we need to ask. And when you get around these folks, ask them, you know what? You don't like that I support Donald Trump? What would you have me do? Tell me right now what I should do. If I'm that bad of a person, if I'm a fascist, I'm a hateful person, if I'm a bigot, whatever it is, what can I do right now? A meaningful thing that I could do right now in order to be in your good graces. And hold them to that. Because once they're forced to think about it, they'll do the obvious. They'll be like, well, they haven't thought that far. They haven't. Let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. And I've got some more sound bites. Hakeem Jeffries, when we return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Wait a minute. Hold it. 100 candles on the cake? How are you going to blow those out? Imagine what kind of a mess you're going to make of the frosting.
We're back, Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Is that Mr. John DeBarros? Is he on the line? Let me get to him. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I see you out there, pounding the pavement, doing what you got to do to get that name out there. I'm loving it.
Thank you, bro. It's a tough battle, but I'm enjoying every moment of it because the people are actually waking up and they understand what's going on.
Yeah, I got your text this morning, and you are talking about something that I think I brought some attention to last week with Chris Murphy donating, I think, $1 million to a couple of anti-Trump organizations in and around, pretty much around the country. What I found interesting about the locations were, I think one of them is North Carolina, South Carolina, another one's in Florida. A lot of them were swing states, and he was giving them to sort of like Latino and African-American groups, which is nothing more, in my view, kind of a slush fund to get sort of some national recognition or get these folks to kind of do some legwork for him in those states.
Yes. Because his eyes is probably on the presidency for 2028. I mean, we got to keep pressure on them. You know, what they're trying to do is they want to try to intimidate Trump supporting candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, you know, it worked in the past, but this time I think we're becoming a little bit more emboldened by, you know, all the nonsense, especially surrounding what happened with Charlie Kirk. They create these atmospheres, which, like you was just talking about earlier,
mm-hmm.
They feel comfortable to justify political assassinations now.
Yeah, you know? I was a little. I'm sure you heard about the Milford case. The woman, whatever her name is, and now I'm forgetting it now. Her name is escaping me. Not that she's all that relevant. Nadine Padowitz. That she's the woman who's now screaming and hollering at this board meeting, you know, calling everybody fascist under the sun just for supporting Donald Trump. And the part that I found odd is, look, they've already sort of had license in the past to say these things out in public and to appear unhinged. But the thing is I thought that we had reached a place where now we were telling people to tone it down. What are you taking from this fact that people are now ratcheting it back up because they think that we've forgotten about Charlie Kirk?
Hey, I just think that it's just letting us know that they mean what they say.
Right.
Because they just assassinated Charlie Kirk, a father of two, in front of the whole world. And a few weeks later, they're back at it again. So I think we need to take their threats and everything that they're saying seriously, because we got so many people out here with mental health issues roaming around the streets, just waiting to have a cause to execute. So,
now? I may be putting you on the spot with this because I get your point. It's like if these people are only going to ratchet it up, if they're only going to inflame their base to be, and their base, unfortunately, is, you know, pretty far left. And very much extremist. We know because Axios tells us in the articles that they write that what their supporters, what these Democrat supporters are saying, you need to be able to get, you know, you got to be willing to get arrested. You got to be willing to get shot in some cases. You have to break the law. Even Chris Murphy said that. It's in some cases you have to do the things that are unorthodox. What advice would you give to your supporters or people who might be interested in a campaign like yours because you're a Trump supporter or part of the MAGA movement? What would you say to folks?
I would say put God first. You know, I'm a Christian. I put God first. Before I even decided to run, me and my wife, we talked about it amongst ourselves, and we went to our pastor and we prayed. And my pastor, you know, he prayed over us because we knew exactly what we were stepping ourselves into. And I just put God first and just believe in, you know, trust in the Lord, and also know that what you're doing is for the right reason. You know, I'm not getting into this because I'm trying to make a name for myself. I didn't decide to run for public office because I wanted to make money. I decided to run for public office because when they start mutilating children for money, and they start intimidating homeschool parents that want to take their children out of the public school system because the public school system has become unsafe because we have these woke teachers indoctrinating your kids with Marxist ideologies, and now you're starting to weaponize DCF to enter into people's homes to intimidate homeschool parents. And then you took away the religious exemption of vaccines. Now you're infringing on people's religious freedoms, religious liberties, and nobody's talking about this.
Yeah.
So I just decided, you know what? Instead of me complaining, I'm going to put my boots to the ground and I'm going to fight back. And I just hope that everybody that's supporting me put God first. Because without God, you know, you're not going to be able to survive the storm that we're about to go through. We're in the last days, and I want everybody to stay focused.
I appreciate you. John, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you giving us a holler. John DeBarros, everybody, of course, you know he's running against Johanna Hayes in the 5th District, so please support him and look him up. We'll bring you back, John, in a more formal way as we get closer to the election, okay?
All right, brother. Take care.
Thank you,
God
man.
bless everybody.
You got it. You too. Yeah, this is, look, there's I will say honestly, and I say it unapologetically, that what has been done to us deserves a reckoning. And people have actually like, you're up here talking about retribution. This is not unwarranted. It isn't. What was done to people was tantamount to the fascism you are screaming and hollering about. It is the fascism. We were silenced. We were threatened. Our livelihoods were threatened. Those things happened. It's not a joke. Just because you've forgotten them or you think that they're a nothing burger now doesn't mean it didn't take place. It happened. I want to go to this because what did everyone say about the indictment of James Comey and the indictment of Leticia James? They told us that what Donald Trump is doing is going after his political enemies, that it is retribution, that it is political revenge. Okay. Then somebody explain Hakeem Jeffries saying this on Rachel Maddow's sister's show last night. You call him Chris Hayes. He's Rachel Maddow's little sister. But nonetheless, here he is.
So there's two things to keep in mind here. First of all, there's accountability for the corruption and the chaos that Donald Trump has unleashed on the American people from the very beginning of his presidency on January 20th that should be tied directly to the Supreme Court and the 6 right-wing justices who basically gave Donald Trump, without justification, blanket immunity.
You mean the law?
And he's been out of control ever since.
You mean following the letter of the law?
So that's problem number one. Problem number two, of course, is the fact that there are so many different corrupt sycophants within the Trump administration, including but not limited to within the Department of Justice. Now, these people don't have immunity. And the reality is the statute of limitations is 5 years, and there will be accountability with the next administration, if not before, when Democrats take back control of the House of Representatives.
So what the hell is that? I thought they told us that political retribution was wrong. I thought they said that Donald Trump doing that was wrong. It was an abuse of power. What's Hakeem Jeffries going on MSNBC talking about? Did he not know the cameras were rolling? Did he think he was at a dinner party? Did Timo Obama not know he was being recorded? Like, what are you missing? The man openly said, when we get back in power, payback's the B word. That's it. Sparing the nonsense, folks. I mean, you don't really think that we're that dumb. They said, and again, they act like they did not ever bring this on themselves. They act like they had nothing to do with it. They had nothing to do with it. I just like to bring up old Leticia one more time. Remember? Here's what she said about Donald Trump as she responded to the indictment.
These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost.
His own statements prove that it is political retribution at any cost. As I said yesterday, do you remember the times of your life? Leticia?
That man in the White House who can't go a day without threatening our fundamental rights.
Yes, we need to focus on Donald Trump and his abuses. We need to follow his money. We need to find out where he's laundered money. We need to find out whether or not he's engaged in conspiracy. It's important that everyone understand that the days of Donald Trump are coming to an end.
I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, defending your rights, and then going home.
Do you remember the times of your life? Hey, Leticia, Petridge Farms remembers vividly. Vividly. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We got traffic and weather coming up. And, of course, my betrothed, my better half, the woman who can't sit through 15 minutes in a film, will be joining us. And that is my wife, Rozan, when she's joining us for Ladies' Night right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, Ladies' Night in a minute. Rozan will be joining me on the program. I always tell people to never doubt me when it comes to the politics stuff, sometimes the pop culture stuff. So you might remember a couple of days ago, and I forgot to play it for like 3 days. I kept wanting to play it. I think it was Monday. I didn't play it until Wednesday, maybe even, it had to be Wednesday. And I finally played it. Here's the audio.
And Alyssa is exactly right. He wants Mondami, 2 reasons. One, going into the midterms, he will take a picture of Mondami, run around the country and say, here's what happened to the Democrats. They are now communists. They hate the police. They legalize prostitution, legalize drugs. They want to elect this Democrat. No experience whatsoever. Being mayor of New York would be his first real job, okay?
And that'll send the national troops in because of the crime rate. Oh my God.
Second move, it's good for Donald Trump because it's the excuse he needs to take over New York, which he said he will do. He said, if they elect this person, then I, Donald Trump, am going to have to step in, take over New York to protect the good people of New York.
That is Andrew Cuomo, former governor of New York, now running for mayor as an independent of New York City. And I said Wednesday that I thought it was a pretty good strategy for him to say, make it about Trump, scare that bejesus out of everybody in New York City. You elect Mamdani, this is what you're going to get. Trump's going to take over. And they don't want that. Use them. Now, Dateline today. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has added 10% of voters in the race for New York City mayor against Democrat nominee Zohran Mamdani and Republican Curtis Sliwa. So again, I told everybody that was a great strategy. With Adams out, Andrew Cuomo did the right thing. Scared the bejesus out of everybody, and they would go, I like Mamdani, but maybe Trump is a little more savvy because again, Mamdani's a new guy. He probably doesn't really know the law. Guys from, you guys from Uganda. Maybe he might not be able to get, like the lawyers that he's young, he's inexperienced. Trump might run circles around the guy. That nervousness is exactly what Andrew Cuomo was playing on. And that's why those poll numbers. And I think, not that I really believe that Andrew Cuomo's got a shot in hell in overtaking it. A lot's got to happen in, less than a month. A lot's got to happen. But it is positive. Not that I like Andrew Cuomo. I'm just calling balls and strikes on this one. So I think that I think I'm over the mark on this one. But I said it on Wednesday. It's a strategy, and I think it'll work a little bit, and it has. Let's go. Actually, just put Rozan on camera real quick. How are you, my dear?
I'm good.
You well rested?
I am.
Yeah, you went to.
I went to bed nice and early.
Yeah.
I did want to say
You didn't get the.
Yeah, I'm ignoring that right now.
Well, you can't bring it up now because we got to go to weather.
Oh, this is going to be so good. Let's do it.
We'll talk about it.
You're in trouble, by the way.
Of course I am.
As usual.
Let's get some weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Happy Friday, Mark.
Hey, thank you, Reese.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Sorry.
Bagel Deli and Bakery. Between rounds.
You have to trigger that thing before it goes in because it starts off cold. You got to warm it up. Between rounds, our bagel winner today, a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, goes out to David R. in Winstead. He is going to receive a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. Don't forget, if you'd like to contribute to the Connecticut Food Share, you can do so by going down to Between Rounds at your location and picking up a bacon, egg, and cheese, chipotle mayo, and avocado, or as they like to call it, the Becca, on a bagel, and 50 cents will go to Connecticut Food Share. So go there, do your civic duty, help out. The folks are at Connecticut Food Share. According to the reports, they have seen food insecurity, that's the term they call it, go up 11%. Great job, Lamont, in the state of Connecticut. So if you want to do your part, go down to Between Rounds. You know Jerry Puya and his folks and family and all of those great guys down there. It was a great pleasure meeting you folks. Don't worry, you'll be seeing me a lot because I love a bagel. We'll talk about that. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about this immigration thing that I found out. The information is stunning because I cannot seem to understand how anyone can get away with the information that they are giving us on this story. And it has to do with how they're collecting taxes, and they're counting these taxes. And it is a fraud. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And when I explain it to you, it will anger you too. I mean, it should anger you. So I'll break that down as well. Also, we've got where was another story? Well, of course, we have Rozan here. We'll talk to her about a whole bunch of stuff she wants to get into because she wants to yell at me about something. We'll find out what that is. Whether I'm not saying that you don't have cause. I'm not. Also, I'm sorry?
You're just not sure which one it is this time?
I don't know what it is. You keep this stuff from me and wait till we get on air and then hash it out. That's what you do. It's like, you know what? You did something wrong. I was like, okay, what did I do? She goes, no. Friday's coming.
Wow.
I'm teasing. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. How you doing, buddy?
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Rozan's having a blast over here. You're already derailing my show because you said something during the commercial break that now we have to address.
We do have to address it. But first thing I want to address is your gross mischaracterization of how last night transpired.
Well, did I mischaracterize, for those of you who are just joining us, in the opening of the show, I talked about how I was watching a documentary trailer for John Candy called I Like Me. And I'd gotten emotional because of that line that John Candy says. And she's like, would you like to see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? To which we began watching. Then I went and took a shower so we could finish the movie later on. And when I got out of the shower, you had fallen asleep.
That's your fault.
Oh, because
I
just didn't watch the movie.
Because you didn't just we were in the living room where it's cold, it's uncomfortable, it's a little sterile. There's no chance of me falling asleep on that chair.
Okay.
And then you're like, I'm going to go take a shower. We'll finish watching in bed. And I was like, all right. You took a shower. Well, after about 10 or 15 minutes in the bathroom, I have no idea what you're doing in there. Then you took your shower. I'm in bed.
Why do you have to
warm.
paint that picture?
I'm snuggled up. I'm all toasty. I got my little, pillow. I got all my stuff, and I'm just there. And then I woke up this morning. I have no idea what happened in between.
I know what definitely happened. You didn't finish Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's your fault. You should not have interrupted the movie and put me in a nice, warm, comfortable setting in an attempt to watch a movie at like 10 o'clock at night. Come on.
It's a great segue because for this reason. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is considered a Thanksgiving movie. And during the commercial break, you heard someone in the commercial talk about this coming Thanksgiving, which is in November. And you asked the question,
what are we doing for Thanksgiving?
And I said nothing. To which you responded, your exact answer was, when I said we were doing nothing for Thanksgiving, and you said, surely what? Someone?
Oh, someone might ask us over.
It's okay. You can solicit. That's
Right.
exactly what you're going to. Someone, she said, she's bashful now. She says, someone's bound to invite us to Thanksgiving. And I went, what for? We're not going to somebody's house for Thanksgiving. No, we're going to spend it together as quietly as we possibly could. Or we can travel and go visit family.
You
But I
don't
want-
travel. You don't
What's that?
travel. You don't travel.
This is true. And I probably wouldn't want to travel during Thanksgiving. But we don't have to go to people's home. Now, and the only reason why I mention it is because I know what's going to happen out of the woodworks.
And I
People are
don't
going to go, you come stay with us. I'm like,
but
no.
I don't like turkey either. So that would be rude, to just like, oh, thanks for having us over because I made such a big fuss on the radio, but I don't like turkey.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of rude, right? So it's like, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, we've been here in Texas for 2 years, two Thanksgivings now, and both of them, it's like,
We had one Thanksgiving.
Did we?
Yes, with
what did we do?
all the members of your family
Oh, yeah,
showed
we went
up.
to those people's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't like people...
Was that with your cousin?
Yes, it was...
No, it was my brother and his wife.
And brother and his wife, that's right.
And then my dad.
And your dad was there.
And my other sister
Right.
and all
So
of
it was okay.
those other
And your
kids.
cousin was there?
Whose cousin?
My niece.
Oh, no, he's talking about Stephanie.
You know what? You go sit down in your booth and you put your little headphones on and you mind your business, okay?
So, no, she wasn't there. She wasn't there for that.
Stephanie was not
so
there.
I don't want to, look, it's nothing against, I don't want to put anybody out. I don't want to have to go to anybody. Don't even suggest it. You and I are going to do
Maybe
what...
somebody could just deliver food to the hotel for us. We could just eat quietly by ourselves. And
Well, don't forget,
I'm so
it is Thanksgiving, and you could do the tradition that we used to do.
Are you going to make me get a turkey sandwich out of a vending machine?
No.
Good, because I will fight you.
I was going to
you.
suggest we just go to a Chinese restaurant.
No,
for
no,
Thanksgiving.
No. I used to work in a Chinese restaurant. They're closed on Thanksgiving. They know better. It's Christmas you're thinking about.
How would they close on Thanksgiving
Because
and not
it's an
Christmas?
eating it's a food holiday.
Oh, really?
And not everybody celebrates Christmas.
Oh.
Everybody celebrates Thanksgiving. It's like,
I promise you that I will make Thanksgiving memorable, and I will do. I promise you, I'll do
Now I'm
Thanksgiving.
nervous.
Well, you should be. It should be a surprise. It should absolutely be a surprise. Can I talk about this real quick with the this story that was in the Hartford Current? It says more legal protections for immigrants. Connecticut lawmakers are considering it. And according to the Hartford Current, what they want to do is they wish to put together with lawmakers something to protect illegals more so than ever before.
Like staying in their own country?
But no.
Oh, okay.
They said
That's ridiculous.
They say they're having discussions, Connecticut lawmakers, and the executive branch about expanding legal safeguards for immigrants amid a surge of ICE arrests and deportations under President Trump's second term. These talks have spurred by immigrant advocates and faith leaders, and they're happening ahead of the special legislative session. Key concerns include ICE agents, sometimes masked, showing up at courthouses, child support offices, workplaces, and homes, targeting individuals with deportation orders or those in prior parole programs. While no bills are finalized, the focus is on shielding non-criminal immigrants who contribute to the state, balancing local protections with federal enforcement. Now, something made me go, what are they talking about? I understand if they believe that they're protecting a tax base. That would make, I would just say, hey, these illegals are bringing in money to the state, so you want to keep them here. So I went and looked it up, and the numbers, according to them, is $639 million. two things in that story that I looked up based on these numbers. And there's a group that they cite in this article. They came up with the number out of 117,000 illegals. They come up with $639 million in taxes.
So they're all paying nearly $100 million in taxes.
Look, you would think so.
Okay.
But no, there's way more than that. But no, I looked it up. Now, there were two things that were wrong with these numbers. One, this particular group of numbers, $639 million out of 117,000 immigrants.
Right.
These numbers came out of 2016. It's almost 10 years old. That's right, 10 years old. But then I read this. Because I had to ask the question, because so many people have been arguing with me about this. They contribute to the taxes, they say. And I'm going, wait a minute. How are they doing that? Are they getting a W-2? Because that's the only way they could be paying federal taxes. That's $639 million. That's in federal taxes alone. And if that's true, that means that they must have some mechanism to fill out a W-2. So I asked.
Like a social.
Right, like a social. So I totally discarded the ITIN number, which is, again, anybody can get that. I looked it up. I said, are you talking about this number coming up from ITIN numbers? And it says, no, not from that. So I said, so if they're filling out employment paperwork that their boss is then sending to, the IRS, how are they doing it without a Social Security number? And this is what it came back with. Employee-provided Social Security number. When hired, undocumented workers typically provide an employer with a fake Social Security number.
So fraud.
That's right.
Oh,
a
okay.
borrowed number from someone else. That's what they're calling it.
A borrow. Okay.
Or an expired valid number. Under the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, employers must complete an I-9 to verify work eligibility. But they are not required, in many cases legally cannot, to cross-check the SSN with government database like the Social Security Administration at the time of the hire. They rely on the documents presented by the worker.
I've found a G-Wagon outside. I'm going to borrow it. It's expired, so I'm going to borrow it.
And this is what they call the working mechanism on how they come up with the federal tax dollars.
Fraud.
Yes.
Fraud. There's no other. Listen. Oh, my God. I'm so. They are committing fraud. They're not criminals. They're here just working. Excuse me. You broke into the country. That's a crime. Every day that you live here, undocumented, you are committing a crime.
Yeah.
Every day that you evade law enforcement, you are committing a crime. That is, by definition, a criminal. Now you want to tell me that they're borrowing expired socials?
I couldn't believe it.
Crime upon crime. Do you know what that makes these good, hardworking, undocumented? That makes them criminal illegals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And again, like I said, I didn't expect this response when I looked it up. I was like, there's no way I'm reading it. So I checked three other sources.
No, please tell me. Like, this is like from The Onion or some.
No, I wish it was.
Oh, my God. This is real. Like, people are. Wait, hold on. If I break into your house.
Mm-hmm.
And I steal all your jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I borrow all of your jewelry.
That's right. You have to use the right verb.
And I borrow your car, and then I leave. That's okay, as long as I borrowed these things. I didn't break into your house. I was afraid. It was cold outside.
It was
cold, and I needed to stay cold. It's your responsibility to keep me warm, so I'm going to enter your home without your permission and borrow all your stuff.
Hold on, I'll go one step further, even with that. I'll go
Okay.
one step further than that, right? I would say stealing the jewelry and then claiming it
borrowing.
borrowing
we
the
go.
jewelry and then claiming it as my own on my fake tax returns.
Your borrowed tax return.
Yeah.
Right.
This is, again, I looked it up 3 times, and I said, there is no way the federal government is admitting that these Social Security numbers are stolen.
Just because you call it borrowing does not mean it's not a crime.
I thought it was insane. Again, I still can't believe it because...
Words matter.
They all do. And so, and this is the thing. It's like every day I look into this, another layer is peeled. And so, folks, I'm just telling you, all of these people who are screaming and hollering at the top of their lungs about how they're paying their taxes is wrong. It's everything about it is fraudulent. So here's the thing. I just want to let everybody know. They are telling us that they've committed no crimes when they get here. And look, I'll even say with the Leticia James mortgage fraud thing, there were people on CNN saying, oh, people do it all the time, so it's not really a crime. Even, and then making a comparison that Donald Trump was accused of, we got a case of over $500 million, a judgment against him, and that is far more significant than the $19,000 that Leticia James defrauded them. And I'm going, folks, do you really think like the rest of us are looking at you and going, yes, that makes sense?
It's the same.
It's insanity. It is insanity. And again, no one, I'll even go this far. Can Leticia James make the argument that the bank actually surveyed the property that she lied about? No.
Well, you have to look at what they're actually going after. See, it was talked about this morning on the news. It's not the fact that she claimed this to be, it's not the property itself. She lives in New York City, but willfully and intentionally claimed for tax purposes that this house in Virginia was her home of record.
Mm-hmm.
This is her primary residence.
But they're not even getting her on that.
Right. But she did that. So if that is her primary home of record, she should not be AG of New York City, right? That's number one. The thing they're getting her on is tax evasion.
Correct.
Tax evasion doesn't have a statute of limitation. Tax evasion, I mean, we built out a mortgage, 2 years ago.
Right.
The amount of times we had to go back and certify over and over and repeat over and over, this is our primary residence.
That's right.
I am 100% disabled veteran. I had to provide all my documents. It took 30 days of submitting the same fracking papers to certify that this will be our primary residence. This is our tax information. This is what we're entitled to legally.
Yeah.
So if I had to do that as a 100% disabled veteran, served my country honorably, now you got this woman, I'm going to say woman with air quotes because you can't convince me that that's a biological woman.
Oh,
you
that's
can't.
not fair.
I don't care. Y'all think Michelle's a man. What is going on? Anyway, you can't tell me that was an accident. Oh,
No, I don't
it's an
think so.
oversight. And then wasn't there something about her claiming her dad was her husband on multiple different
They
purchases?
didn't even go. Look, to be honest with you, they didn't even go for that one.
Yeah, exactly. This is tax evasion. What Donald Trump was accused of in New York City was inflating the value.
Mm-hmm.
And
even after a bank suggested that they did their own work,
due diligence,
and
certified that this was an appropriate number.
Exactly.
Right, I get it.
Oh, no, they haggled. Actually, no. They haggled the amount based upon his assessment and then their own.
Regardless, everybody was on the same page. This is the value of the property. This is how much we're going to lend you because of said value. That is that. The loan was paid in full with interest.
Yeah.
Who was defrauded? Nobody.
Yeah.
Leticia James has willfully, intentionally, and negligently
defrauded
the IRS, the taxpayers of the state of Virginia, and by default, the entire country. So if you're going to set a standard for behaviors and practices, you had better be doing those same practices that you have established. Otherwise, you're open to scrutiny. You are at the peak of scrutiny when you set the standard.
I couldn't agree more. I'll play the rest of her response to these allegations as well, or the indictment for that matter. Let's get another check on weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is back in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
Hi, Reese.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back in a couple of minutes. We'll get into some more news and more views. I've got some more audio sound bites, and of course, Rozan is here. We will continue to talk to her about a slew of things. Do I have enough time to read this? Let me catch. So Joan writes this. Apparently, Joan is listening to the commentary. She only caught the little one-off comment you said. They call Michelle Obama a man, but you were talking about Leticia James. But you had a one-off little sort of like a jab, as you know, funny people know exactly how to inject something while making a point, but then they got upset. It was like, I can't believe y'all still talking that nonsense about Michelle Obama. It's like,
You'll be all right.
It wasn't about Michelle Obama.
You'll be all right,
It was
sweetie.
just a one-off. So obviously they missed it. But hold on, it gets better.
Oh, okay.
So Joan writes this. Donald Trump has created an environment where name-calling and personal attacks are the norm. Donald Trump created that.
Right. It's never happened
Like,
before.
like a god.
Right.
Right? He created that. He's just like
Like a god.
Like a god.
It's never happened before
Exactly.
in history
There
of
was
humankind.
never,
Not
never happened. Everybody was peaceful, got along. Nobody
It's amazing.
ever created.
That is the power of Donald J. Trump.
Exactly. This is what I say
America.
all the time. Anyway, this is a sad commentary in 2025. We don't have to agree, but we can be civil about it. I know it. I know Reese doesn't care, and someone thinks this has some value. Well, stop for a second, Joan. I want to do this for you. This is important to note. We're talking about the Abigail Spanberger and Jay Jones situation. I have a minute. I would like to play something for you while you're so concerned about rhetoric. This was a poll taken in Virginia about Jay Jones, the candidate for Attorney General in Virginia.
A Democrat.
So I just got a poll, just came out last night, got it when I got up today. This is really going to not sit well with you. And the poll was sanctioned by the John Reed for Lieutenant Governor campaign, so I got the insight on it. It hasn't been released yet. But here's the one number that is going to make you sick to your stomach. Here's the one number. When Democrats in Virginia were asked, did the text that Jay Jones sent to a colleague calling for the assassination of, at that time, Republican Speaker Todd Gilbert, his wife, his kids, hoping his kids would die in her arms so she could suffer, calling for police to die so he could get policy on qualified immunity. When asked the question, are these texts disqualifying for your candidate for Attorney General, 7% of Virginia Democrats said yes. 93 said no.
93% in Virginia said that those comments were not disqualifying.
Do you know why, I think? Northern Virginia in particular is extremely blue.
That's
Remember when all the Afghans were being flown out on giant airplanes? They all landed at Dulles.
Yeah.
You and I know
we know
they
that
landed
area.
at Dulles. We know that they all went to our son's high school.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the Central and South American illegals that live there. It is a very
blue. It's a blue part of the state. Overwhelmingly blue. I want to get into something else because Joan says something else. It's the power of the president. I'm going to test that ridiculous theory when we return. Let's get another check of weather and traffic with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this.
It's Reese on the radio.
Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Plenty of show to go on. We got plenty of stuff to get into. Rozan is here. The news is here. Audio sound bites and a whole bunch of other stuff going on. We'll get down to all of it. Hey, I want to congratulate the Archdiocese Catholic School. They deserve a round of applause. There has not been an Archdiocese Catholic school in Hartford. And it turns out that the fall of 2026, they're going to be opening the Catholic Academy of Hartford, the first Archdiocese Catholic school since 2016, when St. Augustine's School closed back then. Since becoming the Hartford Archbishop in 2024, the Archbishop Christopher Coyne, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly, has advocated to bring Catholic education back to the city. And it looks like it's going to be on Asylum Avenue, and it will begin with pre-kindergarten through second grade, and then will grow in the coming years up until the 8th grade. And the Archdiocese purchased the building for $1.5 million. So there'll finally be a Catholic school back in Hartford. So that's worth noting. Joan, I appreciate this back and forth with Joan. I don't believe that she's ever joined us in a chat room because, again, this topic today has been about the rhetoric going back and forth. And so, Joan, I'll give you an opportunity to ask this because you may have been late. I started this off at the beginning. I don't know where you lean, left or right, nor do I really care. You can lean anywhere you want to. But I do have to ask this question because I think every person who is opposed to my rhetoric or Donald Trump's and thinks he's a bully or has a bully pulpit, what would you have us do? If you don't want us dead for our opinions, what do you want? What would you want us? What do you want for us if it's not death? What would you have us do? If you had control, what would you want? Now, I know you say that you don't want us to say this and say that, or you don't want us to act like a petulant child. You can't control people's behavior. You can't. I don't. But as someone who's clearly in opposition of me, what would you rather I do? Because I think that my job here is to, I think the best way I can describe it, is to entertain. That's clearly my role. To enlighten and to converse. And that's what I do here. Now, you may not like the fashion in which I do it, and that's okay. It's 100% cool with me that if you don't, if it's not your cup of tea, I can't please everybody, right? I just do things the way that I do them. And the controversial way that I've been accused of doing it, I get it. It comes with the territory. But please do not get it twisted, as the kids used to say. I'm not fake. This is not a put on. I don't come in here and put on a costume and perform. I'm nobody's, you know what I'm going to say.
Puppet.
I'm nobody's puppet, but I was going to say an animal. I'm not.
Bitch!
No, I'm nobody's, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going to say, I'm nobody's monkey. Nobody puts a coin in my little dish and then I perform and dance around.
It'd be nice once in a while.
Yeah, say the things that the white folks want. That's not me. I'm not here performing for you. Everything that you hear is what I know. It is from my experiences in life, and I've lived a very complicated, long life.
Yeah.
These things have been forged in me and etched inside of me, and what I convey is of those things. So you may be new. I don't want you to think that this is some sort of it's some sort of game to me. It's not. And what's happening, and again, also considering that you may be new, my audience can tell you and get to know them. They will tell you. One, I don't pull any punches, and usually I'm right. Take it a day, maybe a week, but eventually everything I convey here comes out in the wash, and everybody says, damn, you were right again.
It's really annoying.
Is it?
It's really annoying because it happens at home, too, in our personal life. It's really freaking annoying.
Because I'm taking my time, and I am assessing it. Like, I am not a knee-jerk. When you see all these people having a knee-jerk reaction to everything, right? Somebody said something, and it's like, did you hear that? And I'm going, yeah, I heard it.
It's like you tell, like you tell me and the boy, you don't hate just
for the sake of
it. Like, you have investigated, you have tried, you have sampled, you have retried and investigated further, and you're like, nope, hate it.
Yeah.
You are probably the only person I know that researches a thing that you hate specifically to be fully and intentionally informed about not only the thing you hate, but the reasons for the hate.
Right, because anything outside of that is reckless.
Right.
Right? Hating it for the sake of hating it is reckless.
Right.
Right? And look, a former boss of mine, former colleague of mine, Starr, wrote a book called Objective Hate. And I never understood it, but it was like some people just hate stuff and having never known anything about it. But if
like
you
Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump.
Right, if you sit down and talk to me, you'll find out they'll be like, damn, like if you don't like it, you seem to know an awful lot about it. I'm like, yes, because I'm well informed.
Right. I thoroughly hate it because I'm informed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You and I had an exchange earlier today. You watched the video that really irritated you because it got to some of your, like, I guess it hit you at your core. Let me give it a break.
I'm still a feminist.
Right. But
I'm a traditional feminist, not this modern day, is it a man, is it a woman feminist. I'm like an actual equality, like just give us an even playing field feminist. So,
right.
Yeah.
So to break down the video, you were watching a teacher, clearly in a southern school, young black kids in the classroom, and one of the kids was videotaping the conversation covertly. The conversation is the reason why I don't like them locking up phones in schools. But this particular child thought the conversation that the teacher was having with the kids was so controversial. And what the teacher was saying, you can find it online. The teacher was asking the question
about Erasmus.
Yes.
Erasmus opening the door to women being educated.
Right. And he was asking, and he was saying his own personal opinion. I do not believe that women should be educated. And some of the kids were completely flatlined behind it. Like, what? Like, they couldn't believe that someone had said that out loud.
There was one boy in the class who was like, yeah. And I'm going, oh, he gonna beat his wife.
So the other kid, clearly inside the classroom, there were young ladies as well as men. He wasn't teaching all boys.
Right.
But he kept asking the question, do you think that women should be educated? I don't believe so.
Was it a good idea to start educating women?
And some of the boys pushed back and said, why? And then he explained his position. He says, I don't think that my wife should be educated because then she'll try to take control. Then she'll take control of the finances. Then she thinks that she can rule over me. Now, Rozan is watching this video and losing it. Like, losing it. She can't wait to show me this video.
And then you make me mad. But I do want to say that part of, just on a side note over here in relation, if you are a man and your wife steps into your life and starts controlling everything and taking over, and now you are some emasculated little blobling in the corner, that's your fault.
Right.
You are not man enough for that woman. Maybe go find a woman with whom you can be the man. This woman requires a stronger man. Okay, that's the end of my...
Okay. That being said, she was very, very eager to have me watch this video. But her intention was, can you believe what this guy is saying? So she played it for me. And I sat there and I listened. And I heard every word that every person in the video said. I assessed it. And then when she was done, she looked at me and she immediately led the witness. Don't you think that's awful? And I went, I can actually see the other side of this. And she said, how?
I was so mad. I was so mad at you. Like, what the heck?
And all I said was, well, if you notice, she went into an entire dissertation about why it was reckless of him to say that in the classroom. Because one of those boys would hear what he said, and then
take it to heart.
They would take it to heart, and then they would be abusive to their women.
Right.
I did not. I listened to it, and my response to it was this. I said, well, he doesn't really tell people what to think. He continues to ask them questions. What do you think? I don't believe that women should be educated. Tyrone, what do you think? Aisha, what do you think? He gives them an opportunity to counter, and they all do. Those who are opposed, say it loudly. No, you're crazy. The other person says, I don't know, I can kind of see your point of view, but he is engaging with the children. He is not indoctrinating them. This is what critical thinking should be in the classroom.
And that's where you made me mad the second time, because I was like, no, be outraged. You're like, it's critical thinking skills. And I'm going, darn it, you're right. I hate that you're right, because I hate the topic, but that is exactly how we teach young people to use their own brains. We want to open the door to difficulty and allow them to make a thought process from A to B to A point 1 to B point 2. You want that to happen, but what's happening now is, girls are boys and boys are girls, and we're all going to use one big toilet together, and everybody's happy, kumbaya. There's a difference. Sorry.
I didn't expect you to go there.
There's a difference between teaching critical thinking by being inflammatory,
yes,
and indoctrination by demanding subservience.
Exactly, and that's what I saw in that.
That made me mad that you saw it that way.
Because I get the inflammatory nature of what he was asking. That is if you really want to set a fire in a classroom, thought-provoking fire. If you want to do that, you ask a question like that. Women shouldn't be educated. Again, forcing those kids to respond. And he kept saying the entire time, he didn't dismiss their claims, he didn't dismiss their beliefs or their opposition to what he said.
He kept saying, what do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah, but
kept
why?
Asking.
Why do you think that?
Exactly.
And you know what? When you think about it, that is exactly the type of education that I got all the way back in the 80s and 90s.
Right. And it was important, and I respected the way that he did it, because that's what real education is supposed to do. Not just have you oppose what you are hearing, but to at least be able to land the reasoning, right? It's like, they
objectively hate it.
Objectively hate it, exactly. Let me take a phone call real quick. Let's go to Bill in Wethersfield. Hello, Bill.
Hello, Todd. And great show. I like that last question. And what I was calling, can we go back to the taxes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, about the illegals and taxes? Sure.
Right. Well, I do a lot of insurance audits on construction companies, and a lot of them use uninsured, they're all uninsured subcontractors. They're all immigrated into the U.S. legally or illegally. I'm not going to say what, but I tell you, none of them, they all have fake Social Security numbers, and none of them are paying taxes, and most of them are sending money back to their country.
Yep.
Through money orders. And so for them to have what was it, $600 million in taxes they think they're contributing?
Yeah, according to them, and I got to get the breakdown. Maybe we should do that. Yeah, they're saying $639 million in Connecticut alone in federal taxes are being picked up by 117,000 illegals in the state. That's their contribution. That's a lot of money.
Because some of them get 1099s, most of them don't, and on the 1099s, there's no taxes taken out on them.
Oh, darn it! Hold on, we lost him for some odd reason. Rozan, what number did you come up with?
I have to redo it because I don't think that's right.
It sounds insane, right?
No, it's not large enough.
Okay, $639 million.
Right, it's 100. Hold on.
Yes, and that's divided by 117,000. And that's, by the way, that's their report. I didn't even know who the company was that came up with this. Came from Data Haven. That's the organization that did this. And they're the ones making the argument that this is how much they contribute. So, are you close?
That means that each of them is paying $5,462 in federal taxes or state taxes, right?
Okay, yes, those are federal taxes actually.
Federal.
So 117,000 folks are only contributing. Would you say $5,000?
$5,461.
Okay, and the average tax burden of Connecticut citizens is hovering in or around double that, from $10,000 to $11,000. That's how much they're contributing.
So not only are they here getting benefits meant for struggling Americans, they're not even covering half of what they're taking. Not to mention, how are they even paying? Here's something that nobody's really even thinking about or even mentioned at this point either, is that I'm a Latina, I'm Mexican American, I grew up in this country, right? Mm-hmm. I have lived in many places, and when you see a large conglomeration of immigrants from South and Central America,
you may have to hold, honey. I mean, we have to, because we're going to have to hard break coming up. You'll see 7, 8, 9 people living in a one-bedroom apartment together. Yeah, well, that's an interesting point because they do. I mean, generationally, it's just a bunch of young,
immigrant men living together.
We'll bring it back on the other end, and we'll take more of your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Reese. Thank you very much.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, let's get into a little bit of Hollywood news. It's Hollywood news with your correspondent, Reese on the radio. All the glitz and all the glamour. It's Hollywood news. Now, I don't really have Hollywood news, but every Friday I'm trying to do this like clockwork. And the reason why is because, again, you all know that I'm a big movie guy. I love going to the theater. So this time I'm going to see a movie that I talked to you guys about last week called Soul on Fire. And apparently it's inspired by a true story about a young man who had his 100% of his body burned. And, he then goes on to be a public speaker, gets married, starts a construction. He's just this inspirational story. And I watched the trailer when I went to go see Eleanor the Great. Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut, and I was really excited to go see this movie, so it's coming out. Now, I have to say this. So I just went to go look at the tickets, like to see where, the seating arrangement, because nowadays you have to purchase your chair. The 8:45 screening is absolutely empty. So I think I'll be the only person watching. It's an independent film.
I might go if it's empty.
Really?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't be around other people. Raw dog in the same air and stuff.
What?
You heard her.
They cough and sneeze, and then I get sick. People are gross.
We gotta take a break. Let's go to Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center.
You're welcome.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford.
That's like when I asked my wife, "Are you going to work with your butt naked feet out?"
Exit down to 32 A&B, another bump.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon, and you're listening to Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
You just played that for Rozan. That's the only reason why you play that.
It's my favorite.
It is your favorite. You love Tom O'Hanlon. You know what? Let's get to the phones real quick before we end the show. Let's go to Fulton first. He's been on hold. What's going on, Fulton?
What's up, buddy? How come they never go after the businesses for taxes? Like, these people employ them and they know what they're doing, and
and that's so you're right, literally right over the target. So I just had a conversation a moment ago, and that's exactly what we're going to do in the next coming days. In particular, as it relates to John Larson. You remember we played audio where John Larson says he met with the business owner in Newington at the car wash, which you're 100% right, because we need to start asking these folks, hey, not only are these folks in violation of the law, but from clearly what we know in their own reporting from the federal government, they are taking fraudulent Social Security numbers.
It's called collusion.
Right,
Yeah, it's collusion.
One nuance to that, like Mark calls, he says he gets like a $60 thing there, so they're not paying those guys nothing. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever else, it's double everywhere else. Why? Let's go to the bottom thing. The guy's not paying.
Right.
So, like, not for nothing. It's not like he's making up any money that he's saving.
And again, you know what, Fulton, I'll go this far, because a lot of people will say, well, Reese, it's not like these guys are millionaires or billionaires. But it doesn't matter. What they're telling us is that these folks are not violating any laws. They're just trying to make ends meet. But not if they're using illegal means to do it. They can't be allowed to do that. And the rules have got to apply to everyone if we're supposed to treat them like everyone.
Well, it defeats every business is playing by the rules. So every car wash that has to hire an American, they have to pay, unemployment. They have to pay workman's comp insurance. They have to pay all these other insurances. These guys don't. It's like it breaks the system.
Yeah, exactly. But remember, I'll go back. And Fulton, you were old enough to remember this. When we knew people who owned their own businesses and they couldn't hire illegals off the books, most people work 10, 12, 20 hours a day running their own businesses. These guys have no excuse. And that's
all I can say. And it's not going to be good in Connecticut because it's a horrible atmosphere for business, by the way.
Totally.
But I called to ask this one question. What's up, Rozan, by the way? Hello.
How you doing?
So here's my question: who do you think gets more viewers / listeners, you or the Connecticut Sun WNBA?
I have those numbers, and yes, yours truly. Okay, I'll admit it. All right, okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I want you to compare.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. I agree.
Now let's look for let's aim for some real.
Okay, that's not
competition.
Fair. Fulton, why would you bring that up? God bless you, man. I'll talk to you. You have a good weekend.
I appreciate you, man. Have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you, man. You too.
Later.
That's not fair. I'm already in trouble for that. I'm not going to get so much crap.
What? Just saying. Let's aim for some real competition here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Lori asked, are we having a Columbus Day show? Yeah, absolutely. We love the Italians. That's what Donald Trump says. We love the Italians.
I'm a little torn. I really am a little torn.
Really?
Absolutely.
What's it, the indigenous people thing? You can have an indigenous people day, just not on Columbus Day.
Listen, I get it. I'm an American. I'm also a native, being a Latina of native to this continent, it's bittersweet.
I would think about this. Okay, if you can't have Columbus Day, could you have can you have an Indigenous People Day on Neverwary 39th? Maybe. Could you do?
You know what else you're going to get on Neverwary 39th?
All right. I'm just saying.
Happy birthday.
Whatever happened to the days where we could get breaking news that a politician hired an illegal when they were run out of office? I remember that.
Or sleeping with a minor prostitute with cocaine.
Who was that?
Barry, what was it?
Oh, no, that was just a prostitute. You're talking about Marion Barry.
Marion Barry.
Marion Barry.
It was an underage.
She wasn't underage.
Wasn't?
No, she was just African American prostitute.
I'm thinking about the birdcage.
Yeah. No, she was just he was just with what's the name? He said witch set me up.
Set me up.
Yeah. I was like, yes, she did set you up, Barry, but you were taking the coke. You were doing the crack, buddy.
I'm just saying, I've never been, set up by a coke-wielding prostitute. I've never frequented a coke-wielding prostitute, so I think that saves me.
Do you know who was really, really cool with him? With Marion Barry?
Who?
Oh, come on. Who's the most famous crackhead you know?
Hunter?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, that totally tracks. It probably uses the same plug. Makes perfect sense.
I'm not sure I'm familiar with that. Why do you know what a plug is?
Oh, because your boys taught me that.
My guys taught you that?
Yeah.
My employees?
Yeah.
They don't do crack, or at least I don't know if they do.
That's what you call your dealer. And, they got to get their wacky tobacco, and they get it from their plug.
Yeah, they are pretty pot-heady. They love the marijuana. I could never understand it. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't even want to get into that discussion. It's
I think you and I had a similar reaction to marijuana. I got really paranoid. No, I get paranoid. You become a snitch, and things walk on your face.
That's what it was.
I get paranoid. They're gonna get me. They're gonna find out. I still don't know who they are, but they're gonna find out.
I told that story, I think, when I first got here. About the marijuana and the crawling on my face. I might share it one day. Again, for those of you who may have missed it. It's actually a really, really good story.
I think the better story is what a snitch you became.
That
diamond out your boys.
But you know what? That's the beauty of it. I'm so glad that marijuana made me a snitch because, and Roland, this is to tell you how bad this is. So, Roland, imagine you were hanging out with your buddies and everybody wants to smoke marijuana. You don't. You're like, I don't want to. It doesn't do anything for me. And I know it's just going to make me chatty, and I talk about things that I'm supposed to keep secret. So imagine you're in a conversation, and you're a teenager, and sure enough, you turn around and you say to your friend, hey, Derek, do you remember that time when you slept with Jace's girlfriend? Mind you, Jace is with us. Jace,
hold on, it gets better.
Jace is there with us.
It gets better.
So they would look at me and go, yo, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, no, I just thought it was funny.
What was even funnier is that Jace's kid looked just like
that's
Derek.
Another one. That's Jamie. So Jamie Montgomery, yeah. So I did it again, and it was really, really horrible. I'm hanging out with Jace, with Derek, and another friend of ours, David Almodovar, he's passed away. He was killed, but God rest him. He's one of my good friends. But we're all hanging out one day. We're supposed to be partying that night. We're really supposed to be having a good time. And we get in the car, and I just met Jace's youngest child. And I had seen him, and I looked at him. And I saw him, and I just go, they introduced him. He's Jace Jr., and I'm looking at him, and I'm going, So we're all hanging out. We're having a good time. And then in the car going to the nightclub, I just come out and say, has anybody noticed Jace driving the vehicle? Does anybody notice? Jace's son looks awkwardly similar to Jamie Montgomery's son. They look spitting image alike. And you don't again, listen, when I say it, everybody in the car could have just said, oh, that's a coincidence, Reese, and left it alone. No. What does Jace do? He practically makes a right turn on the road to pull over and tell me to get the hell out of his car, which totally says to me, You're the father of Jamie Montgomery's son. I mean, you could have just played it off. They just look alike. Could have left it alone. But that just told me. And I got out of the car. I was like, hey, what's wrong? And it was like, dude, you just got to just go. Just get out. Just get out of the car. Which let me know.
One of these days, you're going to have to tell the story about...
Oh, yes. Needs visual aid.
That's a great story.
So anyway.
It's a great story.
But yeah.
Visual aids.
Yeah, you need visual aids for that story. Which I could describe, but it's not gonna work on radio. But anyway, that being said, yeah, I knew right then and there. Everyone told me, it's like, no, it's not your.
Never give.
Never again.
It's like what is that? Jack
Truth serum.
It's like Jack and Jill.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy. The story.
Well, for me, it's like Gremlins. Like, you don't feed me after 12. Like, that's the kind of deal. You just don't give that stuff. I'm so glad because, again, not a marijuana smoker, and I'm still trying to understand how people smoke it regularly. And guess what? You know what the confirmation is? And I know there's some people who are in the audience and people in the chat room who swear by it. Fine. I don't. This is not a criticism of that. But now that we're getting these new reports that people, whatever it is laced with now or however it's established today.
It's actually just copious amounts of natural, regular marijuana use.
That's now causing these accidents and people drive. Because my problem is stop driving under the influence.
It's not just the accidents. You are completely forgetting about the studies that are showing an increase in schizophrenic behavior.
Yes, that's the part, yes.
Like the what THC is doing to the brain. People are like, oh, it's fine. It's just a little weed. Yeah, until it's not. Like, you don't understand. Like, people just want to have a good time. I got it. But not understanding what it's actually doing to your body, your lungs. There is more tar in marijuana than there is in a regular cigarette, which means your lungs are garbage. And then on top of that, what it's doing to your brain, your mental health, complete dissociation from reality and schizoaffective snaps. Like,
can it be done according to these studies that you've read? Are they suggesting that it can be done in moderation to not have those adverse effects? Or are you saying that?
I will tell you based on my experience with people that I know who smoke copious amounts of marijuana.
Okay.
Or not copious, but smoke marijuana regularly.
Okay.
I think...
Are they smoking like they would a pack of cigarettes, or are they having a joint a day?
I think like drinking, right?
Okay.
You can have a drink or two in the evening, call it a day, you're good. But if you find yourself spending your entire day drinking,
yes,
you're going to have some long-term effects that come on pretty rapidly.
Right.
And I think that's the same thing. Like, we know people who smoke all day long. Like, that's all they do is smoke, 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 go to sleep, smoke, 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 eat, smoke, smoke, go to bed. I mean, it's a matter of time before,
Why do people suggest that it isn't addictive if that's the kind of habit they have?
Because it makes it easier to abuse it. Now, something that marijuana users may want to look into, depending on how heavily you use it, is cyclic vomiting. What is it? It's cyclic vomiting is what is caused by smoking marijuana. Oh, I smoke because I can't eat. It makes my tummy, it makes me hungry. Right, until it stops working, and people end up in the hospital with cyclic vomiting.
Yeah,
where they can't even keep down water.
Yeah, I've heard of that. In fact, there was a story. It was a fake story about Snoop Dogg being in the hospital because of it, but he was actually promoting something. But he had used that study that came out that there was this vomiting issue that was going on for chronic weed smokers.
And nothing works for it. Nothing works
really?
For it. The medications that they typically would give for nausea and vomiting is not effective. So these people are just in violent pain, incapable of keeping anything down. IV fluid makes them vomit. I mean, it's just atrocious. But hey, if that's your deal, fine. That's survival of the fittest, I guess.
Yeah, I don't want to be under the impression that, this isn't a criticism of people who smoke casually. I know nothing about the drug other than the reports that come out about them. And I'm very, I'm suspicious of any particular scientific study, especially because, as I angrily said on I'll never forget it, January 1st, 2012, my first Reese on the Radio podcast, I was outlandishly ticked off when I found out that red wine did nothing for the heart. And I had followed a study since the 1990s that red wine was good for you. And my favorite drink of choice was red wine. And then a study comes out of nowhere and says, call me a snob. Yeah. It comes out of nowhere and says, no, it's absolutely no effect. So I'm always suspicious of these scientific studies. I think that sometimes, not that there's politics involved, but there's something involved. That one day it's good for you, another day it's not. Sodium, not good. Next week, sodium, great.
When you're following, like when you follow the money, right? It's always follow the money. When you find pharmaceutical companies are paying for results.
Yeah.
When you find out that nicotine companies own some of these food and snack companies, and they're paying for regulation and for, certified organic or certified health, whatever it is, like you have to find the dark money behind it.
Sure. There's always a tie-in or a lead into something else.
Always.
It's kind of, yeah.
It's very sad and which is why I'm very adamant about organic, natural, having, growing our own food, which you're completely against, which I don't understand. But regardless, when you follow the money, you start to see these things are all bought and paid for. So the red wine thing was actually denounced by probably the white wine and the 40.
Probably
Mad
so.
Dog.
Twin.
Yeah.
Let's get a check on weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
Don't forget, folks, you can always go download the Odyssey app so you can check out the program and the podcast, which is commercial free. You can find out all the information, all the things that you missed in today's program and in past programs because you are traveling all across the globe. Maybe you were in a busy meeting and you missed Reese on the radio or any one of our shows. You can always do that by going to the Odyssey app today. If you go back, you can listen to our opening monologue and, of course, every other facet of what we do on the program, so you can enjoy that if you go there. By the way, I'm looking at this, Rozan. This is interesting. Back to that immigration story about the Social Security numbers. This says handling mismatches and compliance. So how do they?
There's a contingency for in case Jose and Pablo want to accidentally use the same social.
Yeah. But this is what they do. Is like, how do they handle if someone is actually using someone else's Social Security card? So you would think that this was, they would sort of have a mechanism that would correct the record. No, this is what they wrote. Flagging the number. SSA cross-references W-2 data against the records and flags no-match situations, meaning name doesn't align with the Social Security number. It may notify the employer to correct the information, but it lacks enforcement authority to penalize mismatches or demand proof of legal status. Employers risk anti-discrimination lawsuits if they fire workers based solely on such notices. So that means that even if the employer finds out that the Social Security number is bogus, he can't fire them because of this, because that would be an anti-discrimination law violation.
Wait, you're an illegal. You fraudulently obtained employment. You got caught fraudulently obtaining employment. And then when I tried to fire you, I face a lawsuit for being racist because you're illegal and lied and attempted to defraud not only the government, but my business.
It's my constitutional right to defraud the government. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't.
This is in Connecticut specifically?
No, this is the federal law. I mean, this is actually like when an employer finds out that the fake Social Security number is in the database, they can flag it.
So I've been over here working like a schmuck, using my own Social Security number when I could have been borrowing a social and not paying out of my, what?
And here's the other part. Remember, they kept telling us the ITIN number? Try this on for size. The individual tax identification number is issued by the IRS to non-citizens without a Social Security number. It's used solely for filing federal tax returns and claiming refunds or credits.
Oh, so they get a refund on top of it.
It cannot be used for employment eligibility, payroll withholding, or Social Security contributions.
Where is the refund coming from
Exactly.
and for what?
Where's the tax revenue coming from? We got to get another check of traffic. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
So here we are about to call it a weekend. We're going to go visit your cousin tomorrow.
Different cousin Roland.
Yeah. And you're going to go to the movies with me tonight.
Yes.
You are.
Yeah.
Just because so you don't have to spend time alone at home.
No, there's no other people at the theater. I'm sure it'll be clear.
What movie?
We're going to go see Soul on Fire. It's an inspiration movie about a kid named John O'Leary. As a child, he was burned over 100% of his body, and he's an inspirational story about how he became a sort of a public speaker and a motivational speaker. And just talks about how, it's one of those heartfelt stories.
And you know how much I love crying in public, so.
Yeah. So, there'll be a lot of crying on.
Yeah, bring your Kleenex.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's definitely a tearjerker. Rozan, something you wanted to talk about, or at least I brought up that you wanted to talk about, was the Nobel Peace Prize. You weren't familiar with the woman Maria Corina Machado from Venezuela, who did end up winning, and I give her props. She won the Nobel Peace Prize this morning, and she immediately dedicated it to the Venezuelan people, the people she represents, and President Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about him deserving it because of Gaza and Israel. It was because of his support for the people of Venezuela, because he is an artist. I mean, he fought against Maduro. You guys might recall Donald Trump has actually ordered the destruction of drug boats that have been coming in off the coast of Venezuela.
The racist has been,
yeah.
Right.
But because of that, she immediately recognized Donald Trump because he is a supporter of hers. You didn't know anything about her, but if I could, she was one of the first people that brought to my attention how dire Venezuela was at the time, when there were people protesting in the street. There were a lot of reports about this coming from CNN, even, and MSNBC, about the riots in the street against the Maduro regime, but primarily because there were people who could not eat. The story had gotten so bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is the icky part. So the story had gotten so bad, we were getting reports that many in the news media, and this is why CNN and MSNBC bolted from the story, because many in the conservative media who were going to Venezuela learned that they were people to survive were eating their pets.
Ugh. I don't know if I could have done it.
Because they didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
And that story started really bubbling up, and people didn't want to talk about it because, again, you had I'll tell you this one, and a lot of people know this to be true. What was really at odds with mainstream news media and why they backed off, because they love a revolution. Revolution! They've covered that all day.
It's the pets.
No. It was the fact that what were they arguing? What were they fighting for? The fact that they were starving. That socialism was killing them. That, the mainstream news media.
Wait, socialism was bad?
Yeah, socialism was ruining Venezuela. So that ran at odds with the mainstream news media.
Right.
And Maduro, being sort of the object of their ire, was famously regarded by the likes of people like, Sean Penn, actors, Oliver Stone. There were very powerful Hollywood people who liked Maduro. And they couldn't criticize him because of their relationships with those Hollywood actors.
Okay.
And it was, people just backed away from the story. So this particular woman, the first time I had ever seen her was that somebody had done a report with her, and she was on this float of sorts, like this back of a truck, but like a parade float. And she was there with a megaphone, and she was screaming and hollering, blah, blah, blah. And she had kind of become a face of this revolution. Well, Maduro, of course, ordered her dead.
Right.
And she had to go into hiding. You had never heard from her again.
He's a socialist.
Yes, Maduro.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people are saying it was like, oh, she's an unknown person, because a lot of people were kind of ragging on her, saying, why did she get it? I just want to be I'm going to be the first person on the record to say, look, Donald Trump getting the Nobel Peace Prize was a no-brainer.
Right.
But they didn't give it to a nobody. Because people are saying that they give it to no. She's not a nobody. If you would actually, and go back and watch the video footage of her, the news reports that are about her, the stories that she was involved in that they talked about. People ignored her on purpose. So I give it to the Nobel Committee that a woman who was in hiding, fighting for people who were starving in Venezuela and fighting against socialism and for democracy in her country, fighting against social, they considered that. Now we're talking about a globalist organization that would normally never fight against a socialist regime like a Maduro. They gave this woman credit. So I'm like, it's not as simple as many people put it.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Socialism is what Moron Kamdami wants to do in New York, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
it's still bad, right?
And again, that's going right in lockstep with all of that. Now, I said this yesterday, and I still do believe this. What really hurt Donald Trump as far as the Nobel Peace Prize was concerned.
What's his name?
As far as credibility. No, as far as credibility is concerned. And I said this yesterday in the opening monologue. Everybody knows that Barack Obama got it within months. He got it literally at the same time in 2009. What did he accomplish? Virtually nothing. His signature health care didn't happen until the next year. So it was nothing, right? He had done nothing, and it was just the idea that he wanted peace is why they gave it to him. Oh. But Donald Trump actually stopping 8 conflicts clearly should have given him the opportunity to win. But again, it was that one small part that would have, in my view, would have destroyed the legacy of Barack Obama by having Donald Trump have that Nobel Prize.
Well, he's still got time. I mean, it's not like...
Of course.
You know.
But in essence, if you think about it, it would solidify Donald Trump's place as a transformational political figure. Yeah, exactly.
Legitimize him for all of history, yeah. And it's not like he really needs I'm not going to try that word. It's not like he needs much help in
legitimization.
There we go. In that field.
Right.
But it would definitely do a lot to shut people up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
everyone knows that Donald Trump deserved it. Everybody knows that he did. But what really took them, I mean, I guess in many ways would sort of swept the leg, to use a Karate Kid reference, was the fact that Maria Machado would actually dedicate it to him.
Yeah,
because she didn't have to.
And
a lot of people didn't know what to make of that.
But that also says a lot about her as a human being.
You know what I mean?
Like, she's not out there fighting for political clout and, you know, billions of dollars to have her face put on a stadium and celebrities endorsing her. She has a legitimate gripe, and she is actively out there putting her own life on the line. And that one picture that I saw of her, you know, I mean, I'm just trying to imagine being a small-framed Latina woman out in it is a very male-oriented, male-centric community, right? Like, being Hispanic, it is very male-dominated. Women are very much more quiet and ruled the home, whereas men are in the streets. So to see a woman out there, this small-framed, young Latina woman out there causing this ruckus.
Yeah, and has a large support.
A
great deal of support, I should say.
That is empowering, and that is powerful to me. I don't know that I could do that. I mean, I don't think I have the... I don't have the work ethic. I don't have the work ethic.
I will tell you the most obscure thing about this is that she brings Donald Trump into an issue that is so obscure. Because in essence, she dedicates the award to the Venezuelan people and Donald Trump for his support, which, by the way, is in no public record we could speak of.
Right.
Nobody has known Donald Trump in this administration whatsoever pounding the pavement, stomping and screaming and hollering about, we need to free the Venezuelan people.
Right, but nobody knew that Donald Trump had flown Mandela and 9 of his family members out of Africa until recently. And that's the difference between a person who genuinely has a generous heart versus someone who's like doing it for the tax cuts and because it makes them look good. There's a lot of work that Donald Trump has done behind the scenes for which he's gotten zero credit, zero praise. And so when you see people calling him a racist and, you know, a billionaire and he needs to give all his money away, he's got too much money, you literally have no idea what these people are doing with their money behind the scenes because they're not out here asking for your congratulations on their good deeds.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that they're not doing good deeds. Just shut up, stay in your own lane, and if you care about these people as much as you're screaming and shouting and putting up Facebook pictures about it,
cut a check.
Go do the work.
Yeah, that's what I
do the work. I love my country so much that almost 30 years old, I stood up, raised my right hand, and swore an oath to my country and the Constitution that will never expire. It will never expire. If they called me up today and said, we need you to come back and be a medic, I would be there in a heartbeat.
I know that you're saying it all the time.
Because it's not about getting clout. It's about genuinely caring about the thing that I claim to care about.
Yeah.
And not just, oh my God, there's No, do something about it or shut up. Shut up.
Jason says she is a great recipient. She does deserve it.
Yeah.
And like I said, go look her up because, again, I don't want people to get impressed with like, oh, who's this nobody? Go look her up because immediately when I saw her, I knew exactly who she was. Yeah. But then again, this is my job. So it's like you're not going to pull a fast one by me.
Well,
when they give it to him, I'm not going to know who the person is.
I did see some ex posts about her. And can I just tell you, there's a certain very loud demographic in this country that is looking and going, that ain't a woman of color. That's a white woman. Don't y'all know that she's Spanish? Yes.
Damn.
I will let you speculate onto the demographic that is particularly
I don't need to know.
verbose in regard to her lack of colorhood.
Let me take Bill real quick before we get out of here.
Hi, Bill.
Bill's in Rocky Hill. Hello, sir.
Hey, how you been? Hey, isn't that the lady that he had in prison? And Trump said if you harm one hair of her head, you're in trouble. And the next day she was free.
That's correct. That is 100% correct.
Maybe you should get the Peace Prize.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to look. Again, I understand what it would say for Donald Trump to win that because now, as much as people are fighting him on what he's doing, this Gaza and Israel thing is irrefutable, and it really, there are just so many people that it embarrasses. And it's not just the other presidents because they just tried and it didn't work out.
Still haven't heard from Toshito Relief or Rolisha,
Right.
whatever.
It's the people who said that Donald Trump couldn't get it done. He was absolutely inept on the world stage. To get this done when others could not, they have no choice but to accept this guy knew what he was doing and he was patient and got it done. And they all have egg on their face. And it's not, the worst part about it, Bill, is it's not so much about their inability to concede that he got it done. It's their inability to accept that they were wrong.
Cognitive dissonance.
And we're worried about health care for illegals while he's doing this.
Exactly.
First world problems.
First world problems. Bill, thank you. You have a wonderful.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, man. You too. We appreciate you.
Yeah, absolute silence from Ilhan Omar, AOC, Moron Kamdami, Rashida Tlaib, all of those, the babies. Where are you now?
Mm-hmm.
Why are there no bottles popping for the peace and all these starving, attempted genocided, people?
By the way, before we get up out of here, because I want to pay something off, you began on the show when you first got here talking about Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. So to let everybody know, please, and I haven't heard seen any invites. You haven't, and thank you for that. But of course, Julie in Boston, who's again a personal friend of ours.
Julie.
Julie has already invited us. I just got a text message from her husband, Carmine.
Love you, Carmine.
Who says, I guess we'll see you and Rozan on Thanksgiving, my friend. I'll make sure the room downstairs is prepped for you. Now, Carmine doesn't sound, he kind of sounds like that.
No, he doesn't.
He is a
Be
real.
nice to my Carmine.
He's an Italian. He talks like an Italian.
I love Julie and Carmine. Don't you say us, don't you touch a hair on their little heads.
He say, hey, you come on down here. We got the whole thing laying down. We got some manicotta and, I don't know what the hell.
What are you talking
I don't know.
Just stop. I love you. Stop.
You
sound like an illiterate leprechaun. Just stop. I love you so much.
What is it? What is it called? Mozzarella. Maricotta.
Mozzarella.
What is it?
Mozzarella.
Mozzarella. Prosciutto.
Not prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
Prosciutto. Right. And then you say grazie, and the response is prego.
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 Whose music is that?
I think Roland's trolling us.
Who is that? That sounds like something coming from Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. What are you playing? No, it was you? What are you playing?
Lazy Mary.
Oh. Hey. Ah, yes.
La 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 la.
All I know, there should be some lasagna.
Meatballs. And pesto.
How about some egg? Does he make eggplant parm?
They definitely are going to make eggplant parmesan without a doubt.
We're moving to Boston. That's all there is to it.
That was my favorite food growing up.
No
Eggplant
turkey?
I
Parmesan?
don't like turkey.
No turkey, right? You guys, you don't like turkey, Reese?
No, I love turkey. Rozan
Oh, you
does
do?
it.
Well, Rozan, I knew one of you didn't like
He
turkey.
doesn't eat chicken, but he'll eat turkey.
Yes. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Sir, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you.
Rozan and Reese, you guys have a great weekend, too. And
See y'all
love
soon.
each other all weekend. No fighting over the weekend.
We won't.
All right. I know that. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, northbound side of 91, you got...
Oh, damn. First night day on, you didn't say you're going away thing.
Oh, that's right.
Down to 32 a.m.
First time ever.
Yeah,
down
that
to
was.
Exit 22 in the
Goodness
route 9
gracious.
interchange.
Hope it's not bad
Westbound
luck.
side of 84 slowing over
Dome, dome, dome.
Touching the Bulky Bridge at 47.
That's okay.
84
It's
eastbound
no
is locked up. 44 Prospect.
All right,
Oakwood
boss
into
man.
the
We'll see you
tunnel.
manana.
Monday. It's the weekend.
That's right.
And about
291,
10 more days
384,
till we
okay,
get
quiet
there.
Middletown.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very soon.
Waterbury, you got delays now from just after 16
See
in
you
South
later,
Area up to
boss.
between
See you later.
on the east.
How many days? Hold on.
Yeah,
No,
it's
14.
14 days. Well, I don't care. I've got to end the show that way. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She is Rozan on the radio. Say goodnight, Rozan.
Good night, Roseanne.
We will see you guys on Monday. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we'll tell you about the movie when we get back.
Retarded heart.
You're trying
There
to do
we
the
go.
heart thing.
Am I allowed to say the R word?
You can
I
say
said
it
the
now.
other R word.
What was the other R word?
Retard. Oh, Republican.
Oh, no, the other R word. I keep forgetting.
like
You
the two
guys are
N-words.
worse than the stores talking about Thanksgiving. Let's get through Halloween. I'm sorry. You think that's bad? I
We're
saw a
going to
horrible.
be living in a hotel in about in a couple of weeks.
You
so-
know what's? You want to hear something crazy? I swear to you, this actually. I saw a Hallmark commercial that was already had a Christmas tree up.
Yeah.
The other day.
I think I saw Valentine's Day cards at the Walmart already.
You guys be good, man. I'll see you guys. Remember, be good to each other.